Okay, we're back with another edition of Key Moves, looking at critical moments from Reader Games. It's another game from Tim. Tim had been playing a great game up to here, sacrificed his few exchange, won all his material back, so he's got this winning endgame at this point with the two bishops against a rook. So clearly a winning position for white. But at the moment, our queen is threatened. Obviously, we have to do something about this. So as always, take a minute to think about what you would do. You'll get more out of it if you do that. So I'll pause for a second. All right, in the game, Tim went for a queen trade, which white is definitely still winning here with two bishops against the rook in the endgame. You can defend this pawn and start bringing the king around. Should be winning for white. But maybe it's not that easy, and the game did sort of get out of control later. So I think the better decision here is actually to keep the queens on. And this goes against one of the things we're told quite a lot, which is trade when you're ahead. And I actually think this is one of the maybe one of the least helpful pieces of advice you get. If you're ahead by like 10 points, like a rook and a knight or something, yeah, trading works totally fine. But if the position's sort of close, you don't necessarily want to trade. It really just depends on the position. And sometimes keeping more pieces on the board, winning the game with a direct attack, can actually be the easiest way. Because we should remember we're not computers. We're not going to play perfectly. So it's not about just what's objectively winning. It's about what's the pathway to victory that gives me the highest chances of succeeding. And for white in this position, I would say that's keeping the queens on the board, because it comes down to a few factors. One is king safety. That's always a huge factor with queens. If your king is more safe, you want to keep the queens on the board, because the queen's the most powerful attacking piece. So if your opponent's king is more vulnerable, you want the queens on. And that's the case here. White's king is really nicely defended by this bishop. Black's king is not as well defended because, it's sort of defended by the queen here, but this bishop is controlling a lot of squares. This bishop coming here is going to be very dangerous, and the two bishops are stronger than a rook in general, but especially as an attacking unit, they're really much stronger. So I think if white keeps the queen on, it's very likely that we'll just win this game in not very many more moves. So let's say queen c5, just centralizing, keeping an eye on this pawn. Black definitely cannot take this, because then this back rank check would be deadly. So there's really very little black can do at all. This pawn can't advance. So let's say black plays something like h6 maybe. We can start pushing our passed pawn. Why not? Just start pushing this pawn up the board. We're also threatening queen takes d4. Again, hard to really do much for black, but maybe they defend this pawn. And then we could just keep pushing this with threatening e7, threatening bishop e5. And this is already pretty much resigns for black. Really no way to stay in the game. White's attack is just crashing through. So this would be one situation where the trading is not the easiest or the most reliable, or not the fast. We're not really looking for the fastest way to win. We're looking for the surest way to win. And in this case, keeping the queens on the board, going for a direct attack, just a quick knockout, would be a very, very reliable way to win this game. So if you're ahead by a huge amount of material, go ahead and trade. If the position's kind of close, think about the other factors in the position. Don't automatically trade. It may be keeping more pieces on the board might be your easiest way to win that game.